The Nations will actually tell you that the true spritz and the real spritz is made with select. Actually invent their own kinds of spritz, sipping on their Aperol with a demure smile. Everybody knows and loves this drink, the bright orange cocktail that is seen everywhere all around Italy and well beyond Italy these days. I'm of course talking about the spritz, one of the most famous cocktails coming from Italy, one of the most famous cocktails having its momentum right now. But what if I told you that its origin is not as Italian as you may think? It is Italian, but with a little twist. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and let's get started and discover the fascinating history of this drink. Cheers! Our story begins in the early 19th century, when parts of Italy, and in particular northern Italy, with the present Venice region, were under the control of the Habsburg Empire. The Austrian soldiers stationed there loved the local taverns, of course. But when they tried the Veneto wines, they found them a little bit too strong for their taste. So they started asking the bartenders to dilute the wine with water. The word they used, the verb they used, was spritzen in German. So basically adding water to the wine to dilute it, and that's how the spritz was born. Not as this bright orange cocktail that many people know and love today, not as an aperitivo even, just as wine and water mix. But I think it's also kind of poetic, you know, because it has this perfect mix of these two cultures, the Italian boldness of the local wines and the Austrian restraint of taste. Fast forward 100 years, and the Italians decided to make this Austrian-friendly drink their own. They began experimenting with adding bitters or amari that were already a popular digestive back then all around Veneto. They started adding it to this kind of mix created by the Austrian soldiers in the early 20th century. But then two big names came into the picture. Aperol, and we'll talk about it later, created in 1919 in Padua, and Select, created in Venice just a year later. So first thing first, guys, I want you to know that there is this very strong difference between the Aperol Spritz, the Select Spritz, Campari Spritz. These are all the different ways of preparing the spritz with all the different ingredients. And I want to begin with telling you the story of the most iconic of them all, the Aperol Spritz, this bright orange cocktail, which is the Aperol. The story of the Aperol begins in Padua with two brothers, Luigi and Silvio Barbieri, who owned a small distillery there. Luigi got inspired while recovering from an illness in Cortina in the Alps, and seeing all the different aromatic herbs around him, he got inspired to create this kind of a drink, this kind of a liquor that later became Aperol. Silvio, on the other hand, was the marketing genius. He wanted a drink that was light, social, and perfect for the pre-dinner moments. It was him who came up with the name Aperol, inspired by the French word apéro, meaning aperitif. Also, here is the fun but also kind of infuriating part. At the beginning, Aperol was heavily advertised as the ladies' drink. Low in alcohol, delicate, light, it was the perfectly photogenic drink for a modern Italian woman. Elegant, yes, but also not too bold. The ads featured stylish ladies in bright dresses, sipping on their Aperol with a demure smile, while their boyfriends drank, well, something definitely stronger. And I find it so ironic, because today Aperol Spritz is the drink of everybody. Everybody loves it. There is absolutely no distinction by gender whatsoever. And you know, back then it was kind of a cosmopolitan, but decades before Carrie Bradshaw came to our screens. But look where we are now. And so this is how Aperol, this bright orange cocktail, became the symbol of the Italian aperitivo, that magical moment that can be found virtually any time of the day. Because yes, the typical aperitivo is this moment between the day and night, this transition from the work day often into a more relaxing evening before dinner. But to tell you truly, so many people would drink it even earlier in the day, like us today, for example. Especially if it's a weekend, you will see people enjoying it from quite early in the day and all the way until late in the night, because it's such a staple, it's such a huge part of Italian everyday culture. But The Aperol Spritz and Spritz in general, as we know it today, actually didn't take shape fully until the 1970s, when the Venetians swept the still wine with Prosecco. Then add a splash of sparkling water for the bubbles, some ice, an orange for the color, and you got this iconic aperitivo drink. However, while Aperol Spritz is the one that took over Instagram and became wildly popular all around the world, Venetians will actually tell you that the true Spritz and the real Spritz is made with Select. I personally love both. I actually love all the varieties of Spritz. I think it depends really on my mood on the day, you know, and everything, but I could drink happily both Aperol Spritz and Spritz Select. However, I am really curious to know which one do you prefer. Is it Aperol, is it Select, is it Campari, Hugo, or maybe something completely different? Let me know in the comments. Now guys, a quick reminder. If you're planning a trip to Florence or Bologna anytime soon, it is a good time to check out my travel guides. You will find the links in the description box, because there you will find all of my best recommendations for where to have the best spritz, the best aperitivo in both cities. And in case of Florence, besides all of the wonderful spots that I highlighted in the city, you will also find all these wonderful spots outside the city, because I'm such a huge fan of Tuscan countryside, and I try to go to the countryside as often as I can, especially during the weekends. Like today, for example, you will find all these places with gorgeous views in my guide, so check them out, as they are now both discounted for the Black Friday for a couple more weeks. Today there is a spritz for everyone. There is, for example, a limoncello spritz, especially popular in the Amalfi Coast or around the Cinque Terre. And then in Trentino they make spritz with the herbs like elderflower. And then, of course, there is the Hugo spritz made with mint and elderflower syrup. And I think this is absolutely hilarious, because many cafes and different bars actually invent their own kinds of spritz. I have seen the rhubarb spritz, the melon spritz, and I think a couple more that I can't even remember now. By the way, guys, when I go somewhere and find these cool new inventions, cool new cocktails and places and stuff, I also put them on my Instagram. So if you're not following me yet, make sure to come follow me, and you know, you will be updated on everything that's happening in my life. You will also find the handle here and the link in the description box. What I love most about the spritz, regardless of the type that you prefer most, is that it is so much more than just a cocktail in Italy. It represents the ritual of aperitivo, this moment of slowing down and enjoying the good company and the good drinks, you know, enjoying the environment around you, enjoying other people also gathering with their groups of friends near, you know, on the next table. And I think it's fascinating. It's the moment of connection, the moment when you meet with friends, you order the spritz of your choice or whatever you drink for aperitivo. You also get some snacks. Some places you will get the chips, somewhere you will get the olives. In some other places you will get a full spread, or like a tagliere, the charcuterie board. And I think it's absolutely wonderful, this Italian tradition of not quite having dinner together, but also it is so much more than just drinks. It's not about alcohol, it's not about drinking. It's about connecting to the people you love, to the people you care about. It's about sharing, it's about, you know, just chatting, catching up, and sharing this life-filled moment with a sparkling and colorful drink. So next time you're drinking spritz, whether in Venice or Florence or even your own kitchen, remember that you are drinking living, breathing history, born from the Habsburgs and perfected by the Venetians. Spritz is more than just a cocktail, it's a history in a glass. And having said that, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will see you next week with another story. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Hit the bell button down below so you get the notifications when my new videos are up on my channel. And please like and comment this video. Let me know your favorite type of spritz, and let me know what do you think about this new format. Thank you so much. Cheers!